2026 free agency might not reach the height of last decade's madness, but will certainly destroy and elevate a bunch of teams looking to compete. Every single summer, there's always a handful of signings that make you stop and ask, wait, why the heck did this happen? The confusing ones often age like milk. Remember when Tony Parker randomly signed with the Hornets in 2018, or when the Knicks convinced themselves Joakim Noah was worth $72 million? The brutality Knicks fans had to go through last decade, they came a long way. It doesn't even take a casual to figure out those decisions often end in disaster. By the time the 2027 playoffs roll around, some of this offseason's bad signings will be the reason why those teams can't upgrade, leaving them in early disappointing playoff exits, dropping the franchise 3 steps backwards. Starting with the New Orleans Pelicans, all they've been going is backwards, especially Zion Williamson's regression, looking like he's already getting washed. Now 27 years old, will enter year 8 in the association and still won't be close to sniffing the playoffs. As soon as free agency starts, Joe Dumars' first decision to sign Udonis Haslem 2.0, DeAndre Jordan, to a 1-year $3.9 million deal, and since then, it's been almost 2 full weeks. They've done absolutely nothing. The soon-to-be 38-year-old will miraculously play 19 seasons, the only centers in the history of the league to last 20 plus years. Robert Parrish, Kevin Willis, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. DJ will have played as many seasons as legends like Shaq and Tim Duncan, when he could have been completely out the league after the absolute travesty of a blooper while on the Lakers. That was 4.5 years ago. Little did many expect, the Nuggets picked him up, earned the ring, bringing good vibes and being a cheerleader, given his physical decline ever since 2020. If you're an elite locker room vet, you can be in the league forever, despite being washed for nearly a full decade. Pelicans might look good on paper, but they won a whooping 26 games last season, gave up a lot for Derek Queen. It's an absolute travesty how everyone on this roster has been deemed untouchable, from Herb Jones to Trey Murphy and even Messier being a core part of their future. Not even this 26-win team was trying to tank, not owning their first round pick last season. They did all they could to win games, but just not good enough in the West. Are they seriously running it back? Nobody knows, not even the front office. Caught in no man's land, extremely high asking prices, resulting in bad picks for solid rotational players. Doesn't help a rebuilding franchise. They're not contending anytime soon. Rui Hachimura back to Los Angeles, but not the Lakers. Everybody got fooled by the notification, only to realize it's the Clippers. The fact that LA replaced him with Sandro Mamu, while the Japanese baller absolutely light up the playoffs. Many nights look like the Lakers' second best player, averaged 17.5 points, 57% shooting from deep in 10 contests, stepped up when his squad shorthanded, balled out. We all knew his offensive skills were there, but there's been way too many one-dimensional guys who had one single good playoff game that received a 4 or 5 year bag. It's an absolute travesty. Dean Wade signed 4 years $39 million and Rui only 2 years $28. There's no way in hell a 4.4 point a game playoff scorer average guy got that much more. Despite being a black hole in many areas, Hachimura's a proven playoff performer. He won't be playing in the postseason with the post-Kawhi Leonard Clippers, will be the Darius Garland Clippers alongside Brandon Ingram. Can't see that fit going well. Has a team option for next season. What if he underperforms or gets hurt and team declines his 2027-28 deal? It's possible he ends up with a vet minimum, should have taken more money elsewhere. Mike Conley to Boston, announced a few hours before the whole Jaylen Brown package, the most stunning agreement since the Luka Anthony Davis trade. Where did the Celtics go from here? Did the 38-year-old not know this is not the 2024 Celtics? He can't play serious NBA minutes no more, but always a good mentor on the bench. But the Celtics need legit players to make up for Brown's departure. The guard rotation of Peyton Pritchard and the backups, old man Riverwalk versus Ron Harper Jr., not good enough. So far, this team not close to contention unless they make moves during the deadline for Paul George. Essentially, Conley's the guard version of 2023's Blake Griffin with a little more high value. When team look discombobulated, his presence will make everyone more composed. One of the most out of nowhere deals. Would Conley still have decided to take his talents to Beantown had Jaylen Brown been already traded? Becoming the 14th player to hit the 20-season plateau, Conley would be the perfect mentor to the immature LaMelo Ball, but Minnesota wasn't gonna let him see the court much. Perhaps Conley, his final season with the Celtics, won't end as poorly as Shaq. Jock Landale, 1 year $14 million, heavily overpaid by Atlanta. He's nothing but below average role player. Why not give him 2 years $14 or 1 year $7 mil? The center Marcus all out of sorts. The once backup to DeAndre Ayton on Phoenix got his golden ticket playing minutes in the playoffs due to DA's quitting mentality. In 23 games, he averaged 9 and 4 while shooting 39% from 3. Not bad for a backup. Will be backing up Okongwu, but rookie big man Zuby Ejiofor out of St. John's has a relentless motor, will be taking some of Landale's minutes. Perhaps Atlanta looking to flip his expiring contract come trade deadline. Zach Collins of the Chicago Bulls signed a whopping 2-year $17 million extension. It's the Bulls, what else is new? Mr. Injury prone at this stage of his career should be getting vet minimums or on his way out the league. Only played 10 games this past season, decent numbers of under 10 and 6 in 18 minutes, but had a wrist injury, sidelining him for a month, then a big toe injury after Christmas. Remember the 2019 season? He suffered a dislocated shoulder 3 games into the season, was gonna miss the entire 2020 campaign until the shutdown delayed, returned for the bubble only to get hurt again with an ankle stress fracture, needed multiple surgeries, took 18 full months to come back from. Team already landed Nick Claxton via salary dump from the Nets. Collins turns 29. At this point in his career, a massive disappointment. If he's injured again for an extended time this coming season, teams will have enough of him. Low-key, a back-getting Hall of Famer, the center position hasn't seen this much success since prime Shaq's era. With the team having big men rookie power forward Caleb Wilson, nobody looks at Collins as a mentor vet. Why the Bulls had to spend $17 million on a guy who's barely healthy, the front office can't even give you a real reason. Quentin Grimes, 4 years $60 million to the Lakers. Overpaid. Why? Rob Pelinka, he's not a true 3-and-D savior. The franchise desperately been seeking for years, they still can't find one. I guess the Smart replacement, but making over 4 times as much as Smart, him and Mamu combined for $112 million across 2 separate 4-year contracts, not what the Laker fans were hoping. At least nowhere near as bad as the Luol Deng Timothy Moscow deals from exactly a decade ago. $15 million a year to come off the bench. Thankfully, he got a good attitude. Otherwise, would have been one of those 2-year $13 million guys with a team option. Being LA's primary on-ball defender to make up for the weakness of Reeves and Doncic, nobody looks at Quentin Grimes as an elite defender. Barely contributed last playoffs, numbers of 6.7 points, 40% shooting in 22 minutes absolutely won't cut it. Marcus Smart postseason numbers, much better. Grimes shot just 33% from deep last season, not the best shot selection guy. We don't need a poor man's Austin Reeves. Spending $20 million plus both on him and Colin Sexton, at least Sexton's deal wasn't too bad. Way too inconsistent to be reliable, will miss a bunch of open looks, dribble out of control, doesn't complement LA's 2 stars. When you have 2 max guys, giving a guys like Grimes, who might not even matter on the rotation, come January, February, more than 8 figures a year, just wasting away for a potential 6'8" wing who can shoot decently and defend better. There's absolutely no chance Luka with this supporting cast can get out the second round in the West. Detroit resigning the inconsistent playoff no-show Kevin Huerter, 3 years $27 million, when they already have Duncan Robinson who's better, and signing John Collins 3 years $51. Are we sure Jalen Duren's still coming back? Team already brought in Isaiah Joe at $11 million, and Joe's a better player than Huerter, who never got better after 2023. His 3-point mark has decreased each of the last 2 seasons, while John Collins himself not a clear upgrade from Tobias Harris. With the additions to the Caris LeVert trade, getting washed up Gary Harris and Taurean Prince, that's not gonna help. But Detroit's $42.8 million under the luxury tax, enough to give Jalen Durham 25% of the cap max without going under the tax at under $40 million annually. That might be the best he'll get. But given Durham's playoff struggles, team still not quite in contention, needs a true second star next to Cade if they want to get over the hump. Trae Young of the Washington Wizards. It's John Wall, Bradley Beal, deja vu over again. The franchise just has a knack overpaying their so-called stars, not quite good enough to be top 10 caliber players, but will supermax them like their prime Jordan. The Hawks literally traded Trae Young for next to nothing, knowing he was making too much, not helping the team win with a loss of athleticism and quickness, was limited to 15 games last season, soon to be 28 years old, too undersized, way too streaky a shooter, 4 years, 212, was that really necessary? $53 million annually? Who are the Wizards even bidding against? At least he got plenty of quality players on his squad, but Super Bowl dominant, he's realistically worth 3 years, 120. If he underperforms, Washington fails to make the playoffs, will be one of the most untradeable, unbearable contracts, but with the defense of Bilal Coulibaly, number 1 pick AJ Dembélé, Alex Sarr, and Anthony Davis, there's no reason why this squad can't go above 500. Trae hasn't looked the same since 2021, now getting worse at finishing at the rim. When an undersized guard loses a step, it gets ugly real fast. Perhaps expectations set too high for him after season 3, beating a weak Julius Randle led Knicks roster and a choking Ben Simmons. That conference final run, an absolute fluke. For a guy like him to never improve his shooting percentages, you can't be hunted on D and be below average in efficiency. Expect Trae to be pass heavy the rest of his career, put up 17 points, 11 assists, be somewhere in the top 35 player range, will have a chip on his shoulder, could be a make or break year, being in the same annual money bracket as Luka, Cade, and Donovan Mitchell, not being in the same stratosphere as those guys. With an injury prone Anthony Davis, who's on the decline, the Wizards more than likely not true contenders next season, but by 2028, will Trae's body and offense be able to hold up when he's nearing 30 years old? Only time will tell. Mo Bamba, still in the NBA? What? When? Where? Why? To the Utah Jazz? Absolutely makes no sense. They already signed Yusuf Nurkic and Jackson Hayes. Not a 1, but a 2-year deal? Unnecessary for the former 6 overall pick boss. Played just 4 total games last season, 7 different teams across 8 NBA seasons, and that's including spending his first 4.5 years with Orlando, a half-year rental ever since. Bamba already been waived 5 times. He gotta hold the record for being cut most all time. That's the only record he'll be close to sniffing in the NBA. Is he only in the league given the godly 7'10" wingspan only to guard Wemby for a few possessions? That's the only reasonable scenario behind this signing. The Jazz going from Walker Kessler to Mo? He should be bowing to Wemby for getting a 5th chance, being a proven Hall of Fame bust time and time again. With Wemby's presence, Bamba's blessed with a couple more millions. Only by being 7 feet tall, him and Triple J, the softest front line imaginable, the Foul Trouble brothers.